pretty good. So I guess I'll start introing us into this, but I'm saying hi to Maria. She and I were the only two artists in residence at Fabrica over
Oh,
January, and
uh-huh.
I think I think Maria came maybe a week after I was there. So I was alone in this massive post factory building in Russia. I didn't realize that I flew in on All King's Day, which meant everything was closed. And luckily, my brother got to see the place where we were. Great spot, but also very cavernous. So, um, Joseph, are you ready for us to start, or do you want to wait a little longer? Am I jumping the gun on starting to talk?
Yes.
Good.
Good.
Okay.
Perfect.
Great. So this is Joseph Ka, and I'll give. I mean, there's the write up that I did for this was that I got this wonderful residency at Fabrica, and I went for 6 weeks to Moscow last January, and it was cold and gray, and sometimes I felt like I was in that castle in The Shining, like just alone wandering the hallways. And given that I arrived there on a holiday, I literally didn't see anyone for a week before people started showing back up again. And hopefully, some of those people will join us here. But it was intense, and I got to do a lot of my own work at Piranesi Labs in the building, which was great. But it was definitely an insular um, trip. I'm pretty used to meeting people. I think the language barrier for me was a new one, which I'm normally able to just go places where I speak Spanish. And Russia, I definitely did not have much down. I definitely, Google Translate gets you very far, but it doesn't get you past ordering like milk or chicken at the nearby grocery store. So, and sometimes you don't get what you think you asked for. So, as fate would have it, I was there, and there was a show at the end of my residency, and on that last, it was like 3 nights before I left. Uh, I looked, and Joseph Ka was there eating a jar of pickled tomatoes that were in the space for some reason, and we slowly kind of circled each other, and she happened to be right in front of a piece of mine that was hanging, and we started talking, and she brought up we should collaborate, and I thought I was literally at the end of my trip, and I was quite honestly ready to go. I was just, COVID was lingering, and I know even, Greg had said, "Do you want to come home sooner?" There was all these thoughts of what's going on. Is this really that big a deal or not? And there was a little fear, but I was also worn out. I was definitely worn. Jesse was there, my brother, and so Joseph said we should collaborate, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just I'm done. I'm like already ready to go." But I also felt like I hadn't made that connection. I had connected with some people in the workshop, and that was great, but I hadn't made the creative connection I was looking for. And so I just said, fuck it, let's do this. I should do this. This is what travelers are supposed to go the extra distance for with energy. And so we agreed to meet up, and it was literally, I think, the day before I was leaving, and we spent the day. We grabbed some of my security blankets that I had in the show, and Joseph Ka, who's does performative work. We just decided to just sort of throw it together, see what happened, and we started setting up sort of scenarios. And I was really just documenting, and she was, I think, responding and using some of the props that I had provided. She brought her own props as well, and it's really weird because we did this maybe 3 hours of pretty intense filming, and I think very like you'll see in some of the footage. I think very I think it's pretty surprising that we were able to be as open to the collaboration as possible. I'll leave it at that, and you'll see in you can make your own deduction from how it happened, what you think of it. But to me, it's like the magic of travel when you open yourself up to something, and you allow yourself to be literally and figuratively naked. And so we did this work and we filmed probably 3 hours of footage and still shots. And then we've kept in touch, which is great over time. And we keep talking about really finally getting this together and formalizing it. And for me, it's been really interesting to revisit that time, difficult as well as revealing. Like, what to me is surprising about this is that I feel like a lot of what Joseph Ka was doing, without really knowing me, was like very much reflecting some of the feelings I had internally of being in the space, which I think was a very, I think it's a cold space. I mean, it's a factory. So it's dark, it's dungeness, it's teeming with life, but it's definitely cavernous and underground. And there were times when I struggled a little bit with that. I spent my days, like, I made myself go out for these 2 and 3 hour walks every day, um, and then would come back just because I needed to get out in that, those 5 hours of gray sunlight. And I loved some of that. Like, I loved the subways. So, anyways, the work that we've both done are responsive. Some of it's literally responsive in the immediate sense of Joseph Ka just responding and performing. And I would imagine kind of, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like almost maybe just channeling things, channeling energy of the space, but also of the artwork involved. And then our responses are both, I think, quite different, that you'll see visually. I think mine is very much more looking at the whole picture of my time there. And I think to me, it just amazes me going back over the footage that, like, in many ways, it feels like Joseph Ka was actually like literally acting out some of the maybe frustration or bottled up feeling that I had being there at times and not being able to like always express it. So, but you should say something if you want to add to that, Joseph, before we start. Yeah.
Me? Oh, such a. Okay, I'll try. Amazing speech, and you know, for me it was a big experience. And in general, when I was revising all my experiences, happened almost 1 year ago. So it was maybe one of my working titles for this project was connecting to the love, in a way. So it's I don't know. So and I decided to, I don't know from which I have so much to tell, and let me find the better stuff. For me, this project was about love, as it is. And as you remember, we made two pieces, outside and inside of factory. And for this project, for now this project, I made only this inside, and I guess I'm gonna be back for this outside story a bit later. And for me, this experience, this collaboration was very much inspiring and very much fantastic, and kind of, kind of this one of this proof of magic of life that, of course, we didn't know each other at all, and at the same time, we got, in my opinion, very cool and fantastic result. And I'm very grateful for this experience, and for me, it's very important. And besides, I'm very happy that you agreed to make this meeting, and because it's very important not only to share between each other, but to share to other people. And maybe I'm not very good today with text,
Well, we're also talking in different language.
Yes, let me say it in Russian language. Maybe thus it can be much more easier. Let me say like some sentences in Russian. Thus I will try to return back
Yeah,
to the
for
better.
sure.
Yes, для меня это был какой-то очень прекрасный опыт, и я совершенно благодарна всему тому, что произошло. И я, конечно, не предполагала, что это будет и как это будет, но то, что получилось, мне кажется, это какая-то такая волшебная история. И я очень, очень этому рада. Now, when I talk a little bit Russian language, I realized that I was speaking pretty much the same as I did in English language, and so I'm really grateful to you and to your art and to the space and to myself too, and to everybody who is here today. Yeah, thanks.
Cool. Thank you. I think like for me, just again, speaking of grateful, like I always know, you can have, when you travel, you have these days, you can have days or weeks where you feel like you're losing your mind, or just silence, or lost, or not connected. And so to me, I think it's so it's not that it's ironic, it's proof that like being open to things is always rewarding. So that the idea that my second to last day we spent that day working on this is really what I get to go back to. So I really appreciate that. And I needed it, I mean, I needed that moment. I needed you to say, what are we doing? When are we meeting? Let's do this. So it's really great. So we're going to share the first piece. Joseph, do you want to introduce the first piece?
As you understood today, I'm not super cool with text. I can tell it's a backstage. It's I'm very rough with this video, and I just my method is just to be basic and to be very kind of direct push. And so the first piece we're gonna show it's backstage.
Okay. Let me hope to get this right, and I'm gonna go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Is everybody seeing this well? Does it say AaronTerry meets Joseph Ka?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Give me a sec.
Oh.
Give me a second. Is it okay?
Do you see it?
Yeah, I see.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But can we hear the sound?
You can't hear the sound? Okay. Hold on. I knew this was going to be potential problem. The sound, I think I have to turn off our chats. So give me one second, everybody.
Aaron, when you go to share screen, on the bottom left is usually a little button.
On the bottom left?
Yeah, when you hit share screen and then.
Oh yes, thank you. Yeah, got it. Thank you very much, Tyson.
Cool.
That is helpful. All right. Sound? Yeah, the other way. Okay. No, because the wall, you'll be too far back. You can try if that's how you want to enter, maybe. Okay.
Let's try the red one.
Yeah, for sure more.
This one.
Yeah, in terms of identifiable. But
so let's keep this red.
Okay.
Or if it's not super good, we can make the second. Second peak.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, but do you think I should stay? I want to be professional. advice. Because I can stay, of course, in the dress, but I guess more dramatic it can be like, to be like a bit naked, like this, yeah?
Yeah, I think both is fine.
Yeah.
I don't think you don't need to worry. I don't think professional has anything to do with it.
Come on, I've been working in the model for many years, you know. Not really, I'm not fine in the model. Okay, as usual, I don't know what's going to be inside of this one.
Okay.
At least have fun.
Yeah.
So, the red spot, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a teacher.
You'll figure it.
So, I would love to start from the same, and it seems to be the dirtiest place.
I know.
Oh, you are famous. Oh, it's like my gas bed.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's behind the scenes, yeah? So we were filming all over this huge space, and it's, you know, that gives you a good sense of the factory nature of the building I was living in and that we were working in. Do we want to flip a coin, Joseph, for the next piece?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have a 10 ruble coin.
Oh.
Do you want I don't, there isn't a head or a tail. Do you want 10, or do you want the insignia on the back?
I want 10.
Okay.
10. Oh.
Okay, you didn't win. So I'll show mine next. Or I guess, what does that mean? Do I show next?
You choose. I guess you choose which one gonna be next.
I'll flip it and I'll go next. And here we go. Oops, 1 second. Okay. Can everyone see a patterned screen?
Yes.
All right, here we go. So this is my take on this collaboration, and I've added other elements that came from my trip. So there's everything from the factory we were working in had been a textile factory. So I'd gone to see a couple textile exhibits, and I spent a lot of time on trains, and then I spent a lot of time recording things. So there's elements of recordings that range from there was like a tunnel that you had to pass under every day to get to the subway, and there were oftentimes musicians playing there, so I was recording that. And then there's also the end of a film called Stalker by Andrei Tarkovsky is you'll hear some of the text, some language over the end of it that's reflecting that film. And it's discussing in Russian, it's discussing the idea of the only way that you can have hope for something is to go through, to understand what darkness is. So I thought that was kind of appropriate for what I was working on. Here we go.
Я знала, что и горя будет много. Но только уж лучше горькое счастье, чем серая унылая жизнь. Может быть, я все это потом придумала. А тогда он просто подошел ко мне и сказал: пойдем со мной, и я пошла. И никогда потом не жалела. Никогда. И горя было много, и страшно было, и стыдно было. Но я никогда не жалела, я никогда никому не завидовала. Просто такая судьба. Такая жизнь, такие мы. А если бы не было в нашей жизни горя, то лучше бы не было. Хуже было бы. Потому что тогда и счастья бы тоже не было. И не было бы надежды. Вот.
Okay, that was mine. And now I will add, I'll add one more. Joseph, do you want to say anything about this next one?
You mean do you want me to share my feelings, my kind of? I love this, and it's so sensitive. It's so it's so fragile. Of course, it's hard to understand for non-Russian speakers because this text is so like it's so emotional. It's so simple, so emotional, and so deep. It goes from such a deep kind of and. I'm like, I felt all this time when I was watching, it was kind of, this something, this kind of electricity inside, because, I love Moscow very much, and it's through your experience, through your eyes, and through your vision, through your editing. I guess it's amazing. It's, I am in love with this piece. It's really kind of, I'm still a bit like,
Thank you. Should we do, I'll show yours next, your next one?
I guess, yeah, as soon as you have as one, I guess it could be, yes, good.
We'll do that, and then maybe we can ask if people have questions after for both of us.
Up to you. I'm kind of don't know.
Okay, let's show the next one, and we'll keep people preoccupied, and then and then we can open it up.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
Okay. I love that it's funny, the cell phone, the idea that I had cell phone interference while filming that cracks me up a little bit. But I was thinking about and seeing that, thinking about there's such an endurance. I mean, something that's not in any of these, which we didn't, neither of us chose to use, was the outdoor work, which was, an hour outside, which was freezing.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, no, that was really, really, that was tough. And that was tough. I can say, as with me having all my clothes on, that was tough. So I think it's interesting we both chose to work with all of the indoor, which was gritty also. I mean, that was not, it replaced cold with grit and dirt. So um, I'm curious, when we were in the middle of doing this, what your what you were working with, like what was going through your mind. I mean, for me, it was in part being able to see a performance happen, and still also being, the person behind the camera, in all honesty, feeling in part like a voyeur because I didn't know you so at all. And so I'm really curious, like how what you were working with yourself in those moments. I mean, you didn't know me either, so I felt like that was an incredible
Yeah,
open
yeah.
space.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm mainly site-specific artist, and that's why I collaborate always with something unknown. And of course, the most difficult kind of substance for me is a human substance. And of course, I didn't know you, but I guess from the first time I met you during this opening at the cable, I understood that you are okay, that you are okay in many ways. And after, I guess, of course, the roughest part was outside when I was kind of barefoot and bare feet or bare feet and frozen and everything. And no, by your reaction, I understood that you are doing okay, that you are fine. And what happened inside is, of course, I don't remember for sure. Sometimes during these moments, I stop thinking. I guess it's kind of something kind of like animalistic kind of something, nature. Because and sometimes, especially when you're under certain conditions of cold or we have time we have time frames too. I remember you were supposed to leave somewhere. And can you hear me properly? Because, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And altogether, these time limitations, coldness, dirtiness, and I don't remember if I do unhappy this time in my life. Because quite often it impacts in a good way, the worse the better, the worse the better, the best starting point for performance artists to do something. And of course, the space was very inspiring, and your language, the context, was such a best match for all this kind of cold and Soviet spirit all around, and with all these American blankets made by American artists. And that was such an interesting match. And I don't remember, of course, I guess I remember I felt cold when it was outside, but I guess when it happened inside, I was okay with everything. And of course, after we found some kind of funny places in my body, but when it was a process, I really love this process. Because it's very important. It was you. And your feedbacks and your reactions was amazing. And even if you got nothing, even if you lost, if you would lose all these recordings forever, I would be grateful, for this experience, because for memories, and now we have lots of memories.
Yeah. And you travel a lot also. I mean, I think that's part of it too, is we're both people that have moved around a lot and you're constantly moving from one space to another.
Yeah.
And I think travelers know travelers oftentimes.
Yeah, it's a good quality to be a traveler, at least inside.
Yeah. Yeah, when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's slow and dark. I don't know. Could you understand the reference for the woman speaking at the end of the video that I was showing?
If you would add something more, maybe you can make it more precise, because of course I created my own image and everything besides it. If you would add, yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if it was like legible or not, but it's certainly not, obviously not legible for anyone that's English speaking, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure what we do next. Do we ask if people have questions?
No, but I have.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, comments are great, Bill.
I was impressed. I really liked it. I thought it was extremely, disjointed and avant-garde and quite experimental, and I really enjoyed it.
And you were wondering what I was doing that whole time, Bill.
Well, now we know that you were not doing much of anything. I jest, but no, I was intrigued by it all, and I like performance art, and I like what you did with yours as well. I love how fragmented it was, and I'm still here. I'm still paying attention because I thought it was interesting enough to hang in there.
Thank you. Yeah, it was I think the fragmentedness of mine is, I mean, aside from being literal, is how it felt to be traveling there. It's, you're looking at a phonetic language and you're looking at Cyrillic, and you don't know, it's recognizable, but it means nothing. It has zero connection to the Greek alphabet or, so it's an experience. It's definitely one of the most unique experiences of my life.
I applaud you both, because I think from a standpoint, working together just randomly and quickly and doing what you did and how quickly you got that together, I really thought it was really nice.
Thanks.
I found having gone there to Moscow twice, it was definitely nice to have Aaron there to be my guide, because getting from the airport to the city is totally difficult with a different alphabet. But what was really interesting staying with him at where he was staying was seeing there was some punk aesthetic that I haven't seen since high school. Like, you'd have these sort of high class champagne and restaurants, and then also these like basement punk parties where there's cigarette smoke and concrete walls and loud punk and trash around like that. I loved this just juxtaposition of these two things that I saw in Moscow, and I had a blast, even though it was the dead of winter for Aaron. For me, going there, seeing these the caviar and punk was just really, really cool.
Yes, you are aware that Aaron came home and applied for a punk club license, right?
I wish.
But sound was a big part of it, though. I think interesting the distance. I found that the cell phone interference felt like observation, like wiretapping, which both harkens to ancient history with, well, not so ancient, but historical Soviet and American temperaments, and then also contemporarily our observation by virtue of just our cell phones are constantly observing us. It's how they know our data. And I thought the dissonance of those things too, the sound being out of sync with a lot of the actions. It's interesting. You sort of were wanting to hear the sound of especially the element where Josef had, your feet were tapping back over your body and you were near the basin. and then that would come up later, and you could recognize it because you had the pattern in your mind of what it should sound like. So when the sound came, you both saw the image you saw and the mental remembrance of the image you had seen by virtue of the sound conveying image, which I think was really an interesting moment where sound carried that weight of being a visual presence as well as an auditory presence. I just thought that was really interesting.
Thank you. Yeah.
I was texting Aaron along the way that the real reason I went to Moscow was not to see Aaron, but to get a Polyvox Russian analog synthesizer, and and I was successful, and yeah, it has that sound. It has that Stalker sound, the movie Stalker, and it's wild. It has the same controls as the American Moog synthesizers, but with an entirely different sound, which is really exciting. Actually, I use it all the time. And Aaron journeyed with me quite a bit to get this and get it packed up and get it back.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. In my 3 trips to Moscow, it's kind of like New York City. The first thing I feared and was overwhelmed by and didn't like was the subway. And I think the thing that I loved the most at the end of it was the subway system. I mean, it's just it's overwhelming, but it's so efficient and it's so full of life. And speaking of that history, Greg, of old and new history, it's all there. It's like it's preserved, like everything from the 1917 on has been preserved in the subway, and it's the place where you actually see, I think you see everything. You see musicians, obviously you see efficiency because a train comes every 30 seconds, and it's everything from could be wartime propaganda to just opulence, like just gorgeous, beautiful decor. And I think that was one of my, it's weird. I mean, there were days when I would just go out because I needed to get out, and I would just ride the subway to go somewhere else. Whereas when I first got there, it literally gave me a panic attack to step onto the subway at rush hour. Like, it was so overwhelming. There were thousands of people. You had no idea where you're going. You're a half mile underground. And it seemed like impossible. And by the end, it was like, oh, this is my event. Like this cold of winter, this is actually the most adventurous place to go. It was great.
Yeah.
So, any other questions from folks? Oh, I see that Justine. Oh, thank you, Justine. See you. Well, I think, again, what this has been so great for me to do is, I don't know that I've ever done a trip. This is 8 months ago. I don't think I've ever come back to something. So, I mean, this really has been, it's had an effect on me, delving back into a lot of these images and feelings and spaces and places. So it's been great, and it's been nice to have someone to work with to keep me moving. I mean, I also enjoy just seeing your work, Joseph, over what's happening anyways. It's nice to, I suppose in the age of internet, since we're all old enough to have done both things, both snail mail and internet, it's nice to have a continued dialogue and keep that alive. And I really appreciate that. I guess sometimes you think you're losing it and that it's gone, or that you pass through places and you've only taken pictures and you haven't actually experienced what's really in front of you. And in this case, I feel like it actually has, it's actually the use of that technology to take pictures and shoot video and record sound has actually really stayed with me much more than I thought, and more powerfully than I expected. So
yeah.
So thank you.
So
Thank you.
I'm wondering, Aaron and Joseph, thank you very much for sharing with us.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering what your next collaboration might be. You know, is Joseph going to come check out our subway and
Yeah, why not?
and
Why
one thing that
not?
seemed kind of obvious and simple, but you'd have to think about it. But it seemed
No,
like
that's
if each of you did the other soundtrack, using just make a 2.0 version of it and hear what would happen if you transferred your sensibility and had that fixed image and challenge yourself with trying to figure out, well, what do I hear when I see that, and see what happens. Obviously there's a lot of trust involved in that and becomes a different piece, but it's just a thought as a kind of easy experiment.
It's beautiful, beautiful idea.
But I loved also the fact that you both came up with different geometries for your, and Aaron seemed to favor a bisection at an angle, taking the screen either vertically or, and Joseph, you had a much more formalistic quadrant,
Sure.
And I loved when you decided to black out certain squares and reduce the visual input for us so we could kind of focus on it. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to your next chapter. I think one of the crazy benefits of our current epidemic is that we're having these, this is commonplace now, and that we are meeting from all over the world, and people that would never necessarily be in the same space, digital or otherwise, we're forced to it. But it's gonna, hopefully, bang us up together, and bring more collaboration. So I hope there's a 2.0 and a 3.0 for these projects, and who knows, it could spawn other collaborations, so.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, that's a big part of this is part of a larger project that I'm working on through the University of Delaware. And one of my dreams for it would be, after years of working abroad, and oftentimes having that work be one way, meaning that I travel elsewhere. I mean, what would be really rewarding for me, and I think a true collaboration would be to have people invited back. And I know that University of Delaware has some of those things in place. And I know, this is a moment in time where money is not being given out the same way as normal. So I have faith in time and perseverance. So, but Joseph and I have certainly talked about that. I mean, I think the idea of switching up who's behind the camera, I think Thor, what you're talking about, the idea of who, what sound is picked, or even if we were to lob these back and forth and one person sends the other person one element, and that we, they even evolve. I mean, I see this as, since I'm not a filmmaker, this for me has been really hard to even think about, like I've second guessed a lot of it. And I think
we're all filmmakers at this point.
That's right. That's the weird thing, is we can all be filmmakers at this point.
Everybody's got a studio in their pocket now, and it's crazy. We can't step away from these new roles, but
yeah.
But
Well,
on that note, though, I love the fact that you didn't know anything about film. You were very spontaneous in your approach, and I really like that about it.
Yeah, it's been fun. I've been really enjoying this sort of it's Photoshop animation, which is, kind of sounds ridiculous. I mean, it's stop animation using, a tool that's more powerful than anyone at Disney ever had. They drew out each frame over and over again. I mean, it took me 4 days to get 20 seconds of animation on the beginning of that film. And it's fun. Well, I knew if I enjoyed it enough to do it that long, that there's something I'm getting out of it. But it is pretty ridiculous. It's kind of ironic to think that we're using these incredible machines to still go back to some of the basics that just work. So,
Aaron, I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed both of your artworks, and they're so different too, which made it really exciting. And Joseph, the images of you on the upper right-hand corner of the screen are so beautiful. I could see them as still photographs as well, with the glossy tile and then the frame. And I just kept seeing, I kept wanting to like frame them and stop them because they were just beautiful alone and still too. So I just wanted to say that. I thought there were some very beautiful like shapes and images that could also be still photographs. So thank you both.
Thank you.
I'd love to see what you've been up to. So it's fun. Hopefully we'll have more of these.
Yeah. Well, this is our socializing in 2020.
Yeah, keep up. keep bringing them to us.
Will do. Thank you.
Aaron, hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thanks. I really enjoyed this. All parts of it. I just wanted to say a few things that I especially loved. I loved the vulnerability of your body, Joseph, against the harsh concrete. That was so powerful, and so many shots that you got of her, and the way that you were moving through it, I thought was stunning. And I really especially loved, Aaron, in your piece. I love the use of the fabric and repeating patterns. So terrific. And I thought it was great the way you did that and came in and out with patterns into images and vice versa. So
I thank you. I thought that, I think what was the hardest for me to begin to respond was, what was hard for me was that Joseph had been that's her body and her performance. So I was, at first I was kind of stuck. Like, I'm just the person behind the camera. They've done the work. How do I work with this? And that is partly why I started moving things around and introduced some of my own work. But there were things that, in seeing that, again, I had mentioned this earlier, it came to me that how much her actions in such a weird way were channeling some of the frustration I had. I literally just had some very, there were times that I was just I love being alone. And there were times when I was challenged at how alone I was there. And somehow, this person that I had met only 2 days earlier was doing these, seemed to be, being able to channel that. And I don't even want to say that it was channeling my own feeling. It could well be her feeling of being so revealed in front of a stranger. I just thought that was to me it's so interesting to go back to that and think of, I guess, the power of performance in the moment. It actually continues to impress me. And it was endurance. I think it was endurance for both of us, but certainly more for Joseph than for me. And so I guess I was trying some of that jitter is sort of my attempt to kind of relate in some way of that chaotic jittering of the imagery. Well, are we all good for a Saturday I'm really happy you all came out on
Yeah.
For us in the US, it's a lazy holiday weekend. I don't know how it is in Helsinki, Joseph. Is it just another Saturday?
Luckily today I'm in a residency for several days. So it's 3 hours from Helsinki. In Helsinki, everything is like okay, like it's not like in Moscow. Everything is quiet. Everything is there is lots of stability, balance. Everything is good. And in a way, it's okay. In many ways, it's very okay. And here inside of this residency, it's all around the forest, and I guess it's pretty much like a lazy Saturday. So we have evening now. It's 8 something, and but I guess we are sharing the same feelings.
How long will you be in the new residency?
I will be here only for 3 days. Yeah. It's my first time, and I've been invited. So I'm not the resident here, but I've been invited as a guest just to look around. Just maybe I will apply later. But it's a fantastic place. It's very good, very friendly, and maybe for more than 1,000 artists have been already here.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a kind of popular place and very cool.
And will you do a performance there, or what is your plan?
I guess tomorrow, for sure, I need to do some else with something, of course. Tomorrow, I guess I will record something. I'm still a bit not sure. I guess tomorrow I'm gonna understand. What should I do?
It's quick.
I'm always super quick. I'm always super fast. Yes.
Okay.
But sometimes super slow.
Nothing's ever the same twice. So
Yeah.
well, thank you all for joining us. Unless Joseph, do you have anything else you wanted to bring up with everybody?
I'm just very grateful for everybody who's here, and thank you so much for sharing with us all this. I have confusion because I never know where to look at. So I'm kind of, I'm very grateful, yeah, for sharing, for being together now, and Aaron, I'm super grateful to you. Yeah. But I told you already many times.
Well,
And
here's to more. It would be great to continue.
yeah, looking
So,
forward. Yeah.
great. Well, thank you everybody for coming to see this 2020 online world of art in Zoom. I think Joseph, you definitely have the best background, and it's not even it's a real background, isn't it?
Yes, of course.
I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
No fake, no Zoom backgrounds. I love it.
No, it's totally real.
Aaron, I just want to go on record to say this sure does beat Saturday afternoon college football.
Oh, that's huge. Thank you.
High praise. Thank you both very much.
It was.
Yeah. And speaking about
not watching football.
It's I totally got this one.
Oh, nice. You still have one of the blankets. That's the Second Amendment, blanket.
Mm-hmm.
It looks good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great Saturday wherever you are, and be safe and stay safe and healthy. And Joseph, do you want to stay on and chat a little longer?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I would love.
All right.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Great
Thanks,
job.
Ian.
Later, man.
That was good.
Yes, that was fantastic.
I guess we
No,
still, Lisa, are you still there or are you not there? I can't imagine if Lisa's there or not. Yeah, no, that worked really well. And I am so excited. I didn't watch your video before it came on. So, and it's so funny because the cell phone sounds that you kept, I was like, oh, do I keep those? I didn't even realize that was happening. I was like, oh my God, this is so crazy. I'm so glad you kept them in. So.
Yeah, I love all the songs. It is so good.
Yeah. And I'll send you mine so that you have a high quality, but then I can also I recorded all of this. So I think some of the questions are good.
I guess that's the recording, yeah?
Yeah, it's recording, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so it's nice because then I think for some of the questions asked and the comments, that'll be nice for us to see. And
Sure,
then we
yeah.
can, I'll post it. I can post it on my website and then I'll put it up to YouTube, but I'll send it to you first and we can decide, do we want to chop it down or keep the conversation?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's just true because, sometimes I really love your part because, like so good with English. Yeah, but and with everything. Yes, and it was so cool to find so many people. But
Yeah, so one of the people was my boss, and he wrote me a message. He said, what did he say? He said, propose that Joseph come to our school. We have an international visiting artist program, and there's even a house and a place to stay. So that's like perfect. Like I'll propose that. Cool. I know with COVID, everything's crazy, but like, now Donald Trump is gone. Maybe we'll have better, it'll be easier. But so that's the next thing. We can propose that for you to come here.
Sure.
That would be awesome.
I totally agree, yeah.
Cool. I mean, because then we could do that at school. And we could also I'm in an artist collective in Philadelphia. We could have we could do a bunch of events, which would be great, right? So
that could be super great. Yeah, I've never been to America, and if it could happen like this, that could be just really the best part of seeing America.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, this was, I mean, it's so crazy. It's funny. I literally today I was working on it, and as I finished it, I felt like I realized I just had this like really big release, like a good, not that it was, it just felt good though. Like I was like, oh, it's been important to me to work on it. And I'm so glad that we made a deadline. Like thank you.
Yes, deadline is always the best motivation.
Yeah. So super.
Yes, we did it. And it's such a good feeling, it's in many directions.
Yeah. Well, enjoy. I'm so excited you're in a new residency, and like your background is so much more energized than the white tiles from last week. So have fun. Let me know how it goes, and let's keep communicating. This is so easy,
Yeah, and actually, I have plans still about this outside video because I didn't do anything with it, as you noticed, and I still have plans for the video we do, and actually maybe we can do something as we already got some ideas.
Yeah, that would be great.
Because I'm very happy with this collaboration.
Me too. Me too. I'm just moving.
Just let me know. Yeah, I really love this new surrounding. Yes, just let me know. I'm always here.
Yeah. Well, let's think, what's nice is now we've made something and we can think about, if it's something that's relating to that or it's something totally different, but like we can come up with another
Yeah.
project. I think that would be really, really great.
Yes, just after a while, send me kind of some ideas or kind of maybe some projects that you kind of have there or something. Because what I decided, I need to clean my past, all my past. I need to, how do you say it in English? I need to fix all my past tense projects because lots of them they kind of exist, but in kind of funny way. It's like to bury Lenin.
Yeah.
Yes, it's pretty much the same. It's very symbolic, and thus I believe that it can help you to open maybe the new ways. And actually, I have a very lucky moment right now. All this month it was amazing, and today's event, it's really kind of fun. It is the most beautiful event. The chain other events, and it was the first time in my life I got through from my idea. I got this message 2 days ago. So they accepted my proposal and it happened for the first time. Let's say.
Oh yeah.
It was amazing
Great.
too. Yes. And I don't know. It seems that I'm collaborating very good with this kind of times of epidemia, this kind of mass calamities. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm doing really well. Starting from the beginning of all this story, starting from April.
Nice.
March, April, yes. I of course I hope that it's gonna be very soon. Thus you can go to America, thus you can make something more. And I noticed recently, I checked up recently again I checked up my line life. How is the life? Yeah, it's doing better, because before it was not clear. Now it's doing better, so yeah. So
good.
There is still time to. We still have time to continue. And I would really love to do something. Maybe this trumpet, you remember, maybe we should do this trumpet dance with you, huh? Like just one side, like one side project. Why not? It could be fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
So happy to see you. Yeah. So like, I don't know. I'm just inside of this kind of how do you say this? Like the feel of happiness for the last many days. Of course, I have lots of other feelings inside, but still, the main idea is the idea of this happiness. I just have it so much inside of me, and of course, because of this project, this YouTube and project. What is the other word for the project? What is other synonym? If it's not project.
Well, it's project, collaboration, adventure.
adventure, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Adventure, yeah. And yes, it really makes me happy.
Good. Me too. And it's funny. We both talked because what was it last week? We were both feeling like something's off, right? Like you last week, you weren't happy last week.
I will cry. I remember a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, and I was off. I don't know. I was like, something's off, something's wrong. So I don't know what's going on. But anyways, this all seemed to really, in some ways, help it so much. So yeah, it's like a moment of like, of course, this is why we go crazy. We're artists and we filter so many crazy feelings and emotions and experiences and somehow we get it out, and that's what allows it to be, that's where we finally get rewarded, I guess. So
Yes,
good.
and in this case, I guess art is just the tool to
Yeah.
just the very basic tool, kind of, I don't know, hammer, something,
Yeah.
just to be closer, to get closer, just to this human kind of essence of something. Yeah. Because could you imagine, Joseph could never met you?
Yeah. It's totally, that's what to me is crazy is I mean, that really is what it's just funny. I mean, there's moments where I'm like, why didn't that happen 3 weeks earlier in the trip? Or, all these things, why wasn't that something that, but that's just how it happens sometimes. So, and yeah, I mean, the whole time I just remember thinking that it was, well, it was surreal, but it was also really beautiful because we were both, open. And that doesn't happen often. I mean, that's actually very rare, I think. So that was, it took both of us being open to do that. So, yeah, and that was the reward for me. That was the reward of like the whole trip. There were so many other things happening that were hard or difficult, not bad, but, and then the last thing that was good, like the last day is like the best day. That was really nice. So
Yeah.
that's great. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Mwah.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep talking, because it's nice to just talk to you anyways. Let's keep talking, and I want to know where you go next. So let's talk when you leave your residency. I want to know what happens in the residency.
Sure, and I guess next week gonna be my last week before my big vacations.
Yeah.
I'm studying at School of Swedish Language, and yes, last night I could be more free. We can find a solution, and
Yeah. Okay. Well, enjoy your evening. And
almost
thank you.
night already, kids. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I'm gonna eat lunch. I haven't eaten today. I actually got a little nervous, and I was like, so, yeah, now I can start my day. I was like, figure this out.
Okay, it's the best fun. And I'm gonna drink maybe some more wine because mine is.
I actually, what's funny is I did this had a beer in it. I had beer because I was nervous, but it's so early here. I didn't want to tell anyone I was drinking a beer yet.
But now we know all the truth.
Now we know. Yeah.
But yeah, but it's really the best start for today. For me, that's just the best finish of the day.
Yeah.
I had a beautiful day today. So I began from yoga, and after I was walking around in this beautiful forest. And I will send you the picture from this.
Oh, please do.
Very beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm really happy. Thank you for this.
Me too.
It's, I want nothing, just like kind of this moment.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Me too.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, let's talk soon. Let's pretend like we're still collaborating and there's a project coming up. Okay?
Sure, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Send me pictures of where you are.
Yeah.
Okay. Ciao.
Ciao, спасибо тебе. Спасибо.
Спасибо. Bye.
Bye.